All right, at this point, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. And item number 3 is an invitation for a citizen to schedule time on the commission agenda for an item not listed. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to add an agenda item? Hearing none. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda. We will modify the agenda this morning. We're going to move our action items to the front, regular business to the front, and we'll do the department head reports at the end. We have 2 commissioners by telephone this morning, so we're going to try and expedite their business for sure. With that, are there any additions to the agenda?
Also, as part of the consent agenda, the Human Services report needs to be added into that. It is not there.
Human Services report, item E?
Yes.
Okay. Any other corrections? It's on mine. Okay. Any other agenda corrections or additions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve as modified.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We're going to move on to item 5, the consent agenda items. We have approval of the minutes, approval of travel requests, approval of personnel action notices, approval of cellular authorization, approval of the Human Services report. On the Human Services report, reference number 19-090 is supposed to be $80.10, not $80.01, so that is one correction on the Human Services report. With that, is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any comments? We'll call the roll.
Pierce,
Leanne, are you there?
Did we lose them? I heard a beep.
I don't know if Leanne's still with us. Continue.
Ryan, are you there?
Yes. Leanne just sent a text. I need to call her back.
Okay. Let's continue the roll call.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Bartley,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay. Let's move on into our routine business here. We have item A is approval of the claims. Is there a motion to approve? Is
So move.
there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
We might have to take a little, something happened with the connection.
Well, we have a quorum. We can continue the roll call.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Hello.
Approval of the claims. The motion's been made. It's your roll call.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bartley,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right. So do we have Ryan back also? Working on that one. We got you for sure, Leanne. We'll go from there. We'll give it just a
Yeah, I'm
minute
back.
here. All right.
I'm on.
All right, we're going to move into our scheduled, or not our schedule, our regular business here. We have a scheduled one at 9 o'clock. We'll turn and do our regular business before that. Under regular business, item A is an action to approve resolution number 19-20, a resolution authorizing the appeal of the City of Brookings resolution number 19-053 and the City of Brookings resolution number 19-055. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments on the resolution? Any comments from the audience? Any comments from commissioners?
I think most of the public and the commissioners know where I stand on this issue. I am in support of the resolution moving forward, just to allow the process to play out the way that it needs to.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, we'll call the roll on the resolution.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item B is an action to approve resolution number 19-21, a resolution authorizing the purchase of plexi melt mastic based upon the price established through the Yankton County, South Dakota bid process. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none, we'll call the roll.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C is an action to approve resolution number 19-22, a resolution authorizing the purchase of heavy construction equipment with related accessories, attachments, and supplies through the Sourcewell, formerly the National Joint Powers Alliance bid process. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments? Any comments? Hearing none, we'll call the roll.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D is an action to approve resolution number 19-23, a plat of Block 1, Jensen Addition in the northwest quarter of Section 9, Township 109 North, Range 48 west of the 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
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 Motion been made and seconded. Any comments? Mr. Hill, any comments on this one?
We heard all the plats coming today on July 2nd at the regular scheduled zoning meeting. It was all approved unanimously, and recommendation sent to this board with, that you approve it also.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll call the roll.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item E is an action to approve resolution number 19-24, a plat of Anderson Addition in the southwest quarter of Section 27, Township 110 North, Range 49 west of the 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion to approve? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, and Mr. Hill already addressed this. Any questions? Any comments? If not, we'll call the roll.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item F is an action to approve resolution number 19-25, a plat of lots 12 and 14 in Block 1 of the Paradise Point Addition in Government Lot 2, Section 22, Township 112 North, Range 47 west of the 5th Principal Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments? Mr. Hill covered this one also, so if no comments, we'll call the roll.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item G is an action to approve resolution number 19-26, a plat of Block 1 Goodfellow Acres Addition in Parcel 4 of the plat of Government Lot 1 and in Government Lot 6, all in the northwest quarter section of 31, Township 112 North, Range 51 west of the 5th Prime Meridian, Brookings County, South Dakota. Motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved.
Second? I heard one somewhere.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All right, any comments? This one also, I think you had explained before, Bob. All right. Hearing none, we'll call the roll.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item H is an action to approve agreement number 19-42, a professional services agreement with Schneider Geospatial. And we have some documents there. This was tabled from July of 19. Motion was made by Krogman, seconded by Jensen to approve it. So what we'll need today is a motion to remove it from the table. Is there a motion to remove it?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion is back on the table for us to review. Are there any comments?
Mr. Chair, I just would like to know whether the state's attorney's office and equalization have both reviewed the attachment.
Commissioner Pierce, this is Dan. Yes, we have sat down with equalization, went over both documents. I have no objection to the more recent revised document.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Any comments from?
Same as Dan.
Same as Dan. All right, thank you. No further comments. We'll call the roll. This is
Boersma,
yeah, it's a roll call. I'm sorry.
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item I, action to approve agreement number 19-44, an agreement by and between Teamsters Local Union Number 120, affiliated with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters and Brookings County Highway Department, effective January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments? I think we've all had a chance to review this.
Yes, this went through the negotiation process earlier this spring. Both, speaking to item I as well as J, both bargaining groups have ratified these contracts. And so this is basically the formality to get the commission to sign off, then these will be sent on for their signatures as well.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any other questions? Hearing none, we'll call the roll.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item J is an action to approve agreement number 19-45, an agreement by and between Teamsters Local Union Number 120, affiliated with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters and Brookings County Sheriff's Department, effective January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, and again, same comments. This has been ratified by the local. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll call the roll.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item K is an action to approve agreement 19-46, an application for occupancy of right-of-way of county highways made by the city of Volga. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments? Any explanation? Brian?
The city of Volga dug underneath, or dug through County Road 5.
Make sure you talk right into your mic. They might not be able to hear you otherwise.
Okay, the city of Volga dug through one of our roads within the city limits, and now we're just making sure we're following up to it. They had the proper permitting.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item L is an action to approve agreement number 19-47, a delinquent tax payment agreement in the amount of $1,854.88. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Vicki, any report on this?
This is just a basic agreement. We have had an agreement with this individual. We still have an agreement on another property, and they have been very prompt at getting their payments made, and I would recommend approval for this.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the commission? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item M is a discussion and possible action to award a bid for paving a portion of the parking lot at the Brookings County Outdoor Adventure Center. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. And let's have a little report on it. You want to give us a report, Chris?
Sure.
What, can I,
Or you might go
Yep,
first.
Stacy probably first.
exactly what was your motion? Because we have several options on the table.
Motion, discussion, and possible action to award.
To award which bid? Because we have a concrete low bid and an asphalt low bid. I think we need, and an alternate A and an alternate 1 and an alternate 2. So I think we need some discussion on exactly what you want to do before
We choose
we
an option.
can,
Okay.
yeah, we have to choose what you want
Yep.
to do before we can move forward.
All right, as we look at those particular bids in particular, as they did that, I think we had already discussed one point in time doing it as concrete.
Yep. I think what we need to do first is look at the different bids and then kind of take a look at what we have scheduled on our budget line and then actually make a decision that came through. So we did have 3 bids for concrete that did come in. And that is, of course, what we originally had looked at was concrete. The 3 bids that came in for concrete, the low bid was from Clark Drew at $162,311 and some change. We looked also and did bid out the asphalt as asked for, and that asphalt bid did come in from Bose at $103,230. And that was for the same amount, excuse me, of square footage and parking spaces. So our budget line that was set aside for this project was for $150,000. So if we do go with a concrete project, we are actually over budget, so we would have to look at adding to that budget line. Or if we do an asphalt, then we are actually under budget and have the potential to look at adding additional parking spaces or using that funds to maintain that this year, since that wasn't part of the original budget and we haven't looked at that budget line for 2020. So there are those couple of options there. Our advisory board, everyone has come back with the looking at the asphalt as their choice for this, just because of the cost savings as well as the long-term maintenance possibilities. So while I know the commission was very interested in the concrete, the asphalt, the way the bid came in, as well as the maintenance, as well as the actual price and space, is the way that our advisory board would suggest to the commission.
All right. I know there was a discussion about adding the additional spaces and trying to figure out exactly which way would. Now, has this gone through the city council also, or is it just ours?
Yep.
This is just us.
Yeah.
It's just us, right? All right, so we need to make a decision on which bid we want to go with and whether or not it's concrete or asphalt. It's my understanding that concrete is less maintenance than asphalt. Asphalt always takes constant maintenance. But I know everybody's interested in getting more parking spaces paved right away versus later. So it's a budgetary concern, and I don't know the life expectancy of the asphalt. If it's properly maintained, it probably should be quite a while.
Brian, do you have any feedback on concrete versus asphalt that you can provide for this?
No, you could be looking at a properly maintained asphalt parking lot 20 years before you'd have to overlay, with proper maintenance, chip seal, crack seal. 20 years, asphalt or concrete, you'd be looking in the neighborhood of 40 years.
Okay. Nobody has a crystal ball out that far, I'm sorry. 40 years.
And it was, our advisory board, based on Geotech's specs on this, what they recommended for the parking lot, the application with the base course and the fabric and such, was the asphalt would hold up as well as the concrete, and that's what led the advisory board to promote the asphalt over the concrete. The bid was $103,000, I believe, and also with the advisory board's recommendations was to increase the square footage to not exceed the budgeted amount, but to work with the contractor on a change order to pave the additional area with the remaining money. So.
And correct me if I am wrong, but the parking spaces that would basically continue even with what we have now, those 9 additional, would actually be done in concrete. And they would not be done in asphalt, as I believe the designs show. So the initial spaces that are kind of in our front lawn, those are done in concrete There's 9 additional spaces right here. Nope. Yes.
Yep.
So those are actually done in concrete with the curbing and everything else, and then the rest of that would be asphalt.
And
Are we
then,
at a point where we need to rebid this when you're adding, because now you're asking
No,
for
I
some
talked-
concrete that's not in Bose's bid at all.
no. It was bid with the concrete addition to the west end of the sidewalk there. It was bid with that. The additional asphalt that would be added to get towards it, the budgeted amount of 150,000, Jackie in engineering, the city engineer, would be able to do a change order to add the additional footage to the north side of what's here. Right.
Correct. So any additional budgetary dollars or additional asphalt would actually be going to the north towards the softball fields.
Towards the light pole.
Correct.
Right.
So everything that is in that bid currently is what you are seeing right there.
Okay. So this was the bid picture, not the one above it with the less
Right, that's
parking.
option one was the one above, and then there's this one.
All right, so option 2 is this one, and it's asphalt, but it does include concrete all the way across the front apron.
Yep.
Correct.
And either of Bose's bids, as I understand it,
Yep, Bose's bid, this is what it includes.
includes that concrete also. Okay, that's what I wanted to be sure of, because it,
Yeah, the bid alternate, like B1, is
smaller.
this.
Yeah,
And then B2 is just the addition, the difference between the two, to get a total to do this size parking lot.
yeah. Well, I prefer the larger parking lot.
So do I.
So correct me if I'm wrong, that the request of the BCOAC Advisory Board is actually to accept B1 and B2, and then an additional change order to add further asphalt, further to which direction? The north?
Correct.
Okay.
Leanne or Ryan, any comments? I know you don't have the advantage of seeing this, but Ryan, you're up to speed on it. Leanne, any questions?
No, I'm fine. I'm in favor of the asphalt.
Okay. Ryan, any comments? We still have you there, Ryan?
Sorry about that. I like the asphalt bid.
Okay.
I also like potential opportunity to increase our square footage of paved parking to up to the 150. So
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion to that effect?
Since we have a motion on the floor, I think we amend that motion.
I'd like to amend the initial motion to include, to accept Bose Construction on the asphalt bid of $103,230.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, we'll call the roll on the amendment.
Pierce,
Yes.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Amendment carries.
Now we have a motion to, as amended, to award the contract to Bose for the $103,000. Any further discussion on that motion as amended?
Do we need something about the change order to increase the space?
Jackie said she would be able to handle that with a contractor, and she would bring the required documents to us.
If that requires a second action, we'll have to take that action after it's,
Right.
we get the dollar amount on it.
And the square footage.
Yeah,
Yep.
That
Well-
will come as a change order.
right.
Right.
Any further discussion on the motion as amended? Hearing none, we'll call the roll.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Item N is an action to approve a letter of support for the Rural Jails Research and Policy Network Grant being submitted by Aaron Sirska, Community Projects Director at USD Medical Center. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments on this?
Just that out at NACO in Vegas, Erin Sirska had approached me about this project. She's looking for 5 to 10 jails in the state of South Dakota to participate. And I reached out to Marty, and if he might have some comments on it. But it looks to me like this study might have some interesting information that'll impact pretrial detention. I think the long-term goal might be to, depending on what the results are, maybe to look at legislation regarding our bonding statute.
Okay. Any other questions? Marty, any comments? Willingness to participate?
Yes.
For the record, he said yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to make sure. Any other discussion or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Action carries. Item O is a discussion and possible action on contract update for IPAWS. Is there a motion to approve? Or do you want to have a discussion first and then we'll know what we're going to make a motion for? Let's do that. Let's have the discussion. Bob?
Yes, it's called IPAWS, and there's a long acronym to it, which I don't know off the top of my head. But what it does, it allows us to use computer systems to send out messages to the citizens in Brookings County, such as a tornado warning, or actually through my funding, I've been using my local emergency planning committee funding. The yearly fee, $17.50. It's due for, it gets renewed every 3 years, and it's just time for the renewal. I've submitted the renewal paperwork, and what this request is when the paperwork comes back that the chairperson be allowed to sign it. There is a mobile app that when we was in NACO this year that was brought up that we are going to look at the possibility of doing a cell phone app, because every now and then my staff is not in the city of Brookings. In South Dakota, 4 counties have IPAWS. The state of South Dakota Emergency Management has IPAWS. 2 cities, and then there's 1 county and city that's jointly using IPAWS. So nationwide, it's a pretty, you can draw a circle on a map. I could draw a circle on the city of Elkton, and it would ping every cell phone within the city limits, or within that boundary that the GIS map circles. So it's a good process. We haven't had to use it in an emergency situation yet in Brookings County, but the time's coming.
So the $17.50 covers us for 3 years?
1 year at a time.
1 year at a time?
Yep.
And we have participated in the past?
Yes, for the last 5 years.
Last 5 years, okay.
Or 4 years, I'm sorry. 4 years.
All right. Any other discussion on that?
Bob, because we don't have any paperwork in front of us, does that contract include the mobile app?
Well, no, what today's discussion is the memorandum of agreement between FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and their IT people and the county. The mobile app itself goes through a vendor known as AlertSense.
That would require additional action at some point when we know what it costs.
Depends on what the cost. If it's a minimal cost, I can just add it to my regular yearly contract. But if it's outrageous, then I'll have to bring it to the county commission for action.
Any other?
So,
go ahead, Leon.
Sorry. I did have an opportunity to visit with FEMA about IPAWS at NACO. And one of the things is that the counties that are using that are using the mobile app. And what that mobile app does is allow Bob, when he's at home or anywhere, in the county, and he wants to send out, let's use a tornado warning as an example, he can do that from his phone, and he does not have to come into the office. And that expedites the contacts during the emergency situation. It makes everything flow smoother. And I really think we need to get the mobile app in place. And then secondly, FEMA said that we should be regularly testing our IPAWS. And I don't know that we have done that yet, but I think they recommended at least monthly. And they said that we can have, we meaning Bob, I'm sorry, Bob, that Bob can print off and give to the commission a copy of our IPAWS log on a regular basis whenever we'd like to see that. And I think that would be something that would be beneficial if we're spending the money on it, to look at in the future, maybe quarterly, our IPAWS log, see when we're testing, how it's working, what we're doing. I don't know that we've really used it since is this our second or our third year that we've paid the money? And I don't think that we've really actually done anything with it. And we should be taking advantage of this because this is a great program.
All right, well, I'm looking for, we have a scheduled 9 o'clock, but I want to finish this item if we can. Is there a motion to approve the 1750 expenditure?
So moved.
No, this approval is for you to sign the memorandum of agreement, which will allow
Alright.
us to do what Commissioner Pierce just said, do the monthly test and all that. Right now,
Okay.
our memorandum does not specify that
The-
requirement.
There's no dollar amount, okay. I'm looking for the proper motion. You're moving that I sign the,
That we do the memorandum of understanding update.
I'm authorized to sign it, okay? Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to sign the memorandum.
Memorandum of
Allowing
agreement.
me to sign the memorandum of understanding. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go back to our scheduled agenda item A, 9 o'clock, second reading, a public hearing and action on ordinance number 2019-01, an ordinance establishing a 35-mile-an-hour per hour speed limit upon a portion of Brookings County Road 5, also known as 464th Avenue. This is a second reading. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. At this point, I'm going to open a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience would like to have any comments on this particular hearing? Any comments on it? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Are there any board comments? I got to read the ordinance? Have you got the ordinance? I can read it. There we go. Yeah, everybody can read along with me, except for you guys on the phone. Brookings County Ordinance Number 2019-01, ordinance establishing a 35-mile-per-hour speed limit upon a portion of Brookings County Road 5, also known as 464th Avenue, be it ordained by Brookings County, South Dakota, whereas pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 32-25-9.1, the Board of County Commissioners may determine and establish speed zones upon all or any part of the highways under its jurisdiction. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners has received a request to reduce the speed on a portion of Brookings County Road 5, also known as 464th Avenue, due to the amount of traffic entering and exiting the roadway, as well as its proximity to the city of Volga, South Dakota, and it appears necessary to reduce the speed limit on a portion of Brookings County Road 5, also known as 464th Avenue, to provide for the safety and welfare of all residents and travelers on such road. Therefore, be it ordained that a speed limit of 35 miles per hour be, and the same here is hereby established on that portion of Brookings County Road 5, 464th Avenue, commencing at 1,340 feet north of the city limits of Volga, the city of Volga, and continuing south to the city limits of the city of Volga, or 1,310 feet north of U.S. Highway 14 on County Road 5, 464th Avenue, in Brookings County, South Dakota. That's the ordinance. All right. So we've had a motion to approve it. I'm going to open the public hearing one more time if there's anybody else that has a comment. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any board comments? Hearing none. No comments. You have
No,
a comment?
just that the city of Volga passed a similar ordinance within their city limits that goes north up to our point where it reaches, and then ours goes about a quarter of a mile, I suppose, more to the north. So their ordinance will take effect, I believe, shortly, if it hasn't already. And then ours, after it's published, will take effect on the 21st of August.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none. We'll call the roll.
Jensen,
Aye.
Pierce,
Aye.
Boersma,
Aye.
Krogman,
Aye.
Bartley.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item P is an action to approve a request to fill vacancy for an equipment operator in the Highway Department. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments?
This is due to a resignation in the department.
Okay. Hearing no comments. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item Q, an action to declare a RICO MPC 2551 copier as surplus property to be sold via online auction. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any comments on the copier? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Action to remove a brochure holder and folding chairs from the surplus list. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. Is there any comments? Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now we are going to go back on our agenda. Now, that does complete all our regular business, and I believe I haven't missed anything, Ryan or Leanne?
No, thank you for allowing me to call in. I appreciate it.
We'll appreciate you taking the time to call in, both you and Leanne, and enjoy your time off. We are going to move back into,
Leanne, are you going to stay with us?
I think I'm going to drop off.
And then
Would appreciate being brought back on for the executive session.
will do.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
all right, thank you. We are going to go back to department head reports. We'll start with Brian.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'll start off here. July 8th, the DOT informed me that Pram Construction that's working on the bridges south on 77 will not be back until the water levels drop below the major flood stage. We've been keeping a pretty good eye on this. They were out there working when they could prior to the river coming back up, but one of the things I've been wanting to keep everybody in mind with is how this pushes the contractor a long ways behind. Been reassured by the contractor and the DOT that as soon as the water levels drop, they will be back. In attempt to try to push up their timeline, they've been on some other projects, finishing up some of them, so now once they can get back on there, they're gonna actually have more crew than they originally planned on it. In attempt to try to get most of this stuff done prior to the snow flying. So, like I said, just kind of keep you guys up to date on that. July 9th, we received varying amounts of rain. We only ended up having to close one of our county roads, and that was 40 up by White, due to the water overtopping the road. It was reopened the next day, and I guess we dealt with that as it came, but we had a lot of rain in that little short stretch of time there. July 10th, talked to the guys out there at Deer Creek Station Bridge, Graves Construction. They were continuing to work on the abutments and placing the final riprap, and as of today, they will be off-site. Their portion of the work is finished. There is some regrading and approach grading and asphalt work to be done, and that's with Bose Construction. Going to be reaching out to them guys this week to figure out a timeline on that, to keep you updated on that. Basically, all that's left is the approach grading and the guardrail once the approach grading is done. So that one's moving along quite well. July 11th, the DOT closed Highway 81, started pushing a lot of traffic. on our roads. They had the detour routes were set up to take state highways, but a lot of traffic has been coming on our roads. We did temporarily close some of our gravel roads on the account that they were putting some pressure on the township roads also. And I've been working with Marty and Bob on that, letting them know that the closures that we have set up are just for temporary. And as soon as that water goes down on 81, I don't know when that'll happen, but right now they're just closed to through traffic only, in an attempt to try to keep the truck traffic off the township roads. July 12th, landowner breached a lowland area and inundated with water, and the rush of water overtopped our County Road 12 over by Sinai. I know the emergency management staff and the sheriff were out there working with that because it was pretty much most of the day on that Friday that road was closed down, but it was reopened that night once the landowner plugged it again. July 17th, I attended the LTAP equipment demonstration day down in Canton. Pretty informative, even though it rained. We didn't get to see a lot of the demos we were hoping to get to see on the account of the rain that they were receiving, but all in all, I think they had an awfully good turnout. There was quite a few different states there and a lot of counties. But there was 5 of us in attendance, including Commissioner Jensen. And July 18th, I attended the safety picnic at the BCOAC. 12 of us from the staff came. Good. Pretty good turnout, I thought. I think it's a good thing to do.
Okay. Any questions? I guess from the 3 of us. That's gone. No questions?
I got one other thing here. I know we approved it earlier on in the meeting, but I don't know. This was in my packet, the grader bid. Yeah. We had $320,000 budgeted, and the reason for the over on the budget was basically the walk and roll packer, and we went with a different style of wing for our grader. But I want to mention too, we're also deferring some of these equipment to be able to absorb this in the budget. We are deferring a rubber tire roller that was approved for last year, and then also a distributor truck on the account that the plan is to hire out our chip seal next year. So there would be money in my budget to obtain the extra $47,000.
Okay. Any questions on that? Thank you, Brian.
Thanks.
We're going to move to the community health report, Karen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you'll notice that our report looks a little bit different than what we were doing. We appreciate the approval to go with a biannual report versus every quarter. We are going to still include a summary, so we'll still break down all of our services that we provide and things that we do that are keeping our office very busy. So you'll see that summary report. It's pretty much the same. We're still doing all of our services there. We're still up to date on training. We have an event coming up this fall that we're working on with the Brookings Pod Group. You'll see our list of community involvement there, as well as just, was it a week and a half ago, our all staff attended a conference out in Pierre for 3 days, and that included our 2 county clericals. So in addition, we have added in some biannual stats. So you'll see the January through June by program. So our WIC, our baby care and prenatal, our caseload is listed there, as well as some of the education that we do. The ASQs, that is a free developmental screening that we do on kiddos that come into our office. And then we do refer out for different services that they would need. Cribs for kids, safe sleep.
Can I just add, I handed out a page of statistics this morning. That's the correct one. The incorrect one was accidentally put into the packet. So the correct statistics are, they're up on the screen, but they were also handed out this morning.
Cribs for kids are safe sleep. That's just based off of need. And then you'll see our immunizations that are offered in office, both the VFC, the Vaccine for Children program, as well as the non-VFC doses that are given. So that would be for, insurance or self-pay.
Okay.
And hopefully we'll continue with this. You can actually see the stats as well as the summary. Any questions?
Any questions?
No?
No questions.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the report. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the County Development Department. Bob? We have some be it noted items that Chairperson Bartley is authorized to sign the personnel action form for the South Dakota Office of Emergency Management. And number 2, Chairperson Bartley is authorized to sign the 2019 state and local agreement third quarter report.
Yep, thank you. The July 8th, a couple weeks ago now, we held a communications meeting and talked to the local fire departments about the 2 new repeaters going up in the county. And we also looked at our local emergency operations plan at the same time. July 11th, last Thursday, we had a FEMA applicant briefing for all towns, townships, county, highway, and county EM offices. We had a good turnout. 2 organizations could not make the meeting, but they have been given the paperwork since, and according to FEMA, they should be able to catch up and still get their funding. Out of sequence, but yesterday, July 22nd, FEMA External Affairs visited the county, and they said that this is not going to be a quick process. It's going to take time for FEMA to get out here and visit each township. You know, the county expenses are basically looking at our employee records, such as for the blizzard removal, snow removal. But for the actual townships, they'll probably have to visit it. I don't know how many townships they can hit a day or how many they want to hit a day, but once they come into town, according to this external affairs group, that we will, I'll go out, me or Richard will go out as much as we can with them and show them exactly where all the sites are. We get all the sites identified and we'll go out and but they're taking them one county at a time. So it's going to take a while, I think, before they get to Brookings County. But once they get to Brookings County, hopefully they'll do a big sweep but there's really no timeline. They haven't been able to set us a timeline yet. The NACO conference was July 11th through 16th. I did attend that. There was stuff on Census 2020, IPAWS, and items such as that. My deputy, Richard Hagen, he went out to FEMA emergency operations training in Pierre last week. And then the second half of the week, he stayed out there and attended building officials training. And at the same time, last Saturday, or this Saturday, July 20th, thunderstorms wreaked havoc in parts of the county. It nailed white pretty good. A lot of tree limbs were down. The storm hit right around 7, between 7 and 8, it sounded like. And I got up there about 11 or so, and they just about had everything cleaned up. The community really banded together. They had to cancel their Pioneer Day parade, but all the other events was just pushed back for 2 hours. And the community came together, and I went up and talked to the mayor, and he said they had enough contractors on site that they didn't require any external assistance, so we didn't give them any. And then the storms also hit the city of Brookings, south in the outside city limits to the south, such as some of the trailer parks. Once again, these are old growth trees. Trees that's been around 40, 50, 60 years. People don't trim them down. You get a 75 mile an hour winds was clocked at the airport, and it took the branches down. And there was quite a few trees knocked down. And if you look at the trees, at the root system on the trees, they should have been cut down probably 5 years ago. But not a lot we can do except tell people to watch their branches and stuff. And, you know, I've brought a couple trees down in my yard myself, had them cut down, just, I didn't want them to fall on my house or my neighbor's house. Next up is, Highway 81, there's, you know, not only is Highway 81 underwater in south of Arlington, now there's water over the road up by Ponce with that last rain system. It sounds like we're gonna have a few days without rain, and then another rain system is supposed to be coming in from the west. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. July 25th, later this week, I have a meeting in in Mitchell for South Dakota Emergency Management Region 6, and I'm working on my state and local agreement documentation, which, as you said, be it noted, you'll be allowed to sign once it's complete. And that's my report. Any questions?
Any questions for Bob?
Thank you.
Say none, thank you, Bob. Let's move into the finance officer's report here. Vicki?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You should have received in your packet the finance officer's report for June, and that includes 2 action items for the quarterly highway transfers and the quarterly emergency management transfers. The highway transfer is $750,000, and the emergency management transfer is $21,250, and this is the third quarter transfers on those. And we also have be it noted items of auditor's account with the treasurer, payroll and additives total, highway expenditure report, register of deeds statement of fees, and also included was the quarterly financial report for Brookings County. And just to give you the highlights of the report, our general fund cash analysis, surplus analysis was at 36.37%, which is pretty much in line with prior years. We are doing well there. And since it's a middle of the year, looking at the revenue and expenses, with general fund, we've received 54% of the revenue, and we've expended 44% of the expenses. So we're doing well with that too. And also last week, there was a Tyler meeting in Sioux Falls. They are looking at getting a new financial, the tax part of the financials in our software. So we were asked to come to that to give our input on that. And Sean and Jennifer and myself from Brookings County attended that, and that was a good meeting. And that will be continuing through next year. It'll probably be a couple of years before they actually get the final product. But we will be involved with that through teleconferences, and we'll probably get together once a year. So that was a good meeting. And other than that, it's just been business as usual. Any questions?
Thank you. Any questions for Vicki?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do have an action to approve the quarterly transfers as per budget appropriations for the third quarter of 2019. Excuse me. Item 1 is from General Fund 101-4-911-4294 to Highway and Bridge Fund for 201-371-0000 in the amount of $750. And item 2 is from General Fund 104-4-911-4290 to Emergency Management Fund 2263-371-0000 in the amount of $21,250. So we've got one for $750, the other for $21,250. Can we act on these together?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any questions on these transfers? Part of regular business. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, back to department head reports. Marty?
Good morning. Just
Morning.
a quick overview of the jail population. We're at 31. And also the 24/7 program, continues to stay busy for us. It's the participants have went up a bunch since my last report. So we have 140 in the program. We have 6 on a drug patch. We have 30 on the PBT, which means that's twice a day, so 60 come in. Scram, I have 20 on Scram. I have 81 on UA tests. That's just on the 24/7 program. There's 15 UAs for drug court, and there's 4 UAs for Hope Court. And these come in, so there's 100 UAs that we take twice a week. I have 3 on GPS at this time. Also, we talked a little bit about last time about raising the per diem at the jail, and the last time I ever raised it, of course, right now I don't have room for any other counties. Moody County and them have asked to come, but I just don't have the room right now. But I would like to raise it from 65 to 95, and I think the last time I raised it, we just noted it, but maybe just checking with the commission if you want a resolution to raise that, if you have any comments. And then Stace and myself will work on a resolution at some point. But
I guess we'll just research out and let you know.
Okay.
I don't know. I assume we'd have to have a resolution, but yeah.
And that's fine. So.
All right. You bring
But
it.
as I look through your report comparing the jails in South Dakota, it'd be comparable to the
Be
rest.
comparable, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that it's a lengthy report, but actually it's a good report because it kind of tells you where we're at with the other jails and other sheriff's office and for employees and all kinds of stuff.
There was a lot of good information in there for right down to the handguns you carry. I mean, it was
Yep.
pretty in depth. So
Yeah. Also, we stay busy in the paper service, if you notice, and I know I have a lot of stuff on here, and you just have to pick and choose what you want to look at. But, so far, we've served almost 1,500 sets of papers. And so I put a deputy in that full time from 12 to 8 o'clock, and that's all he does is serve civil process and criminal warrants. We do a good job, I believe. I don't have a turnaround rate for the civil process, but the goal at each end of the day is to have the basket empty. But sometimes we'll get 22 sets of papers in on a Monday to serve, and there's only 1 or 2 in there that we haven't got contacted or served. So he does a good job with that. And we have an 82% turnaround for criminal warrants, which is not bad either. My goal is to be at 90%, but that's neither here or there, but we do a good job. I believe my staff does a good job of turnaround on warrants and civil process. I'm worried about, so far we're not seeing it here in Brookings County, but statewide, I just had a regional sheriff's meeting with 12 sheriffs in Watertown, and they're starting to experience more bankruptcy coming through and things coming through, and I don't know if it has to do with the water situation or whatever, but so far we're not seeing that here for the papers, but there are statewide, there's some increase in that. Also, the Department of Ag, and we're going to invite the Department of Ag to the Sheriff's Conference too, because the Department of Ag statewide is receiving more complaints on spraying drift from either airplane or ground. The Department of Ag now requires law enforcement to go with them when they go do soil samples, and so far we've done one so far in the Aurora area, and a deputy went with him to take that sample and stuff, and evidently, again, it's just the Department of Ag wants to give us information so that when we get these complaints that they will help us and have a little more streamline on the complaints and so forth when it comes to for drift with spraying and those types of complaints. But they do want to have an officer with them. Bob touched on the storm. I had a deputy, they met at 10 o'clock at the fire department to talk about what they were going to do, and I had a deputy attend that, and then he did basically traffic control over there, helping with traffic so that they could clear the streets. I'm only aware of one house that a tree fell on in the city of White. Also on the 16th, I gave a presentation over at the public library. It was something new for the library. It's called Youth Academy, and I believe the mayor of Brookings was in there the week before to discuss about city government and so forth. But I talked to like 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th graders talking about making good choices and consequences of bad choices and picking good friends and trying to keep them. And it was a good class. There was several from the Volga area and good participation. These kids are a lot sharper than when I was that age. They're, sometimes you think our kids don't know what's going on, but they know what's going on. So anyway, other than that, unless you have.
I got a question, Marty, back to the aerial spraying. Have you ever received any feedback from the aerial applicators within Brookings County?
No.
The reason I asked, I spoke with the highway superintendent up in Dual County this morning about the accident they had up there. And since that accident, the commissioners have pulled the permit from the individual. I don't know if the sheriff up there has talked to you about it or not. But,
no, he's not. And they're supposed to contact myself and highway, and they've not contacted me, so I assume that they have not landed on any of our roads.
And I've talked to him, and they have not.
And that's what one of my worries was he was on a takeoff and hit a sign.
Yeah. Well, the FAA is involved up there, and the highway superintendent said he would forward any information that comes out of that would be pertinent to us. So
I'm hoping that they're looking at the roads and probably seeing that these roads are a little tough right now when it comes with the water and things like that. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're reframing for that. I saw a helicopter in the area, and they're a little different, but like I say, they're supposed to give me notice that if they're going to land on a road.
Yeah.
And they haven't, so.
Does our permit allow them to land on paved roads or just gravel roads?
Paved roads.
Okay.
And what I had asked him the last time I talked to him, this is a week or so ago, is, to try to give us an update here, but he said at this point in time, they're trying to utilize the airports.
Okay.
Then the only other thing is that we've had, and Bob touched on it a little bit too, or I guess Brian did, on individuals that are taking upon themselves to drain their land and flooding other people, and that takes more calls for service for a deputy to go out and take pictures and do a report and send it to the state's attorney and stuff. So, this season is just tough on everybody, and so, but we try to manage and take these calls for service and so forth. So, anything else?
Any other questions? Thank you, Marty.
Well, I got to give kudos to our lawn people. Is that we had some big branches fall down in the courthouse and lots of little stuff. And Sunday they were here and picked everything up, and I think they had like 3 big trailer loads of stuff, and it looked nice for Monday morning. So
I think we all had branches.
yeah.
I had a few. Took up most of Sunday to pick them up, too. All right, Jacob, would you please give us a report?
Just a couple quick things from my office. We're a little over half complete with our countywide commercial review. We're right on track to finish by the end of the year if the weather cooperates with us. Second thing is I've been invited to kind of a roundtable discussion on the flooding with Kingsbury and Hamlin counties. I know they've been getting a lot more media attention in Kingsbury for sure. And, just because we only have a sliver of Lake Poncet within Brookings County, we're probably the least affected of the 3, but we all want to be on the same page when it comes to making adjustments to the assessed values if we need to. I did go up there yesterday just to survey what we had for damage at this time, and I documented 7 properties that had what I would call moderate exterior damage. There's a lot of shoreline damage all along the lake, but as far as the structures go, 7 properties with moderate exterior, and of those, 2 had some interior damage as well. And I think it would be ideal for us to assess these properties again on November 1, our legal assessment date, just to see what the lake levels are doing at that time. I mean, if they're at the same height or higher than they are now, there will be adjustments made to the assessed values. If the water levels have gone down, at least on Lake Poncet, and damage has either been repaired or is on its way to being repaired, there probably won't be any adjustments to make, but we'll just have to revisit it around November 1 and see what we can do at that time.
Okay. Any questions?
I'm curious, Jacob, are there adjustments to land values in those low-lying areas as well, or are we just looking at structures?
We have the availability to adjust the land values in those areas, just kind of a wait and see game. You know, what's going to happen around November 1.
Is that roundtable discussion going to address both land and structure?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's set to take place next Wednesday.
That's a similar question I was going to ask. On some of this farm ground, there's water sitting where there's never been water, and I'm sure if it sits there for an extended amount of time.
Right. We've had a couple phone calls up to date now that there's been adjustments for water on some ag land in the past, but with the new flyover, it's kind of handy to at least look at what the water levels were in early to mid-May when the flyover was done. And we've also gone out and put eyes on some properties to see if there's further adjustments to be made.
Okay.
Thank you. It's responsive. Thank you. Mike?
Good morning. I just have a couple things. First off, I did attend the fair housing meeting that the HUD had over at the library last Friday. It was kind of interesting. Learned quite a few things at that. And the other part is the DAV van recruitment went very well. We've got 9 new drivers coming up. Some of them are in the first part of it. Other parts have been certified. So we kind of got around the telling veterans, no, we don't have a driver now. We do have a bunch coming on board.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any questions for Mike? Good job. Thank you. Kristen?
Hello, it feels like a long time no see. So just a few things. Thank you again for the parking lot. The patrons and public are really going to enjoy that. We've had a lot of amazing 4-H events happening at the BCOAC, so that's the first thing. It's been amazing to see, you know, literally hundreds of kids, 40 kids and their families with the 4-H dog show and a lot of other events. We've started seeing our camps really take off. We have SDSU coming out with 30 kids next weekend. The staff has been fantastic. The individuals that we have hired have a vast knowledge of experience in archery and in the firearm side. So it's been great to be able to combine all that knowledge and have those individuals. We've seen an increase in our qualifications, whether that's from National Guard or the Veterans Affairs Police. So we are seeing that range being utilized during daytime hours as well. We have a new train representative, and I think this is really important to note. That individual comes to us from Chicago, where he is actually a commercial designer and engineer. So it's been really refreshing. I've spent about 5 hours with him in the last 2 weeks, where we have gone through the system and actually systematically looked at the tonnage of every unit and tried to figure out where there are the deficiencies, and then how we can look at the different humidity issues that we have in the building, and then also where we have the problems, i.e. like the classroom, where I have a 10-ton heating unit in a classroom that's only 700 square feet. So we are going to make some changes. Our previous account manager told us a condenser was out in our archery range. However, after having a technician there, it was simple switch issue, and it was like a $700 part, not a $5,000 part. So he's been very upfront, very honest. We are going to be moving that classroom unit over to our gun range. So you guys are aware, our gun range unit works strictly off of outside air. So its lifespan is dramatically shorter than any other unit that you could see. So by moving that unit over to use during unoccupied time, we're actually going to increase the lifespan of that unit. So it'll be heating and cooling our gun range off of an actual unit instead of expensive unit. Making then we can have a small commercial or actually a large household size that we could use in that classroom. Also working with a couple of contractors, we have an issue with some leakage inside the 4-H office on replacing a window and then actually adding fans, 1 fan per office. Since those areas are so small, that's when the humidity builds up no matter how much of an outside air and a dampener that we put in there. So we'll have a couple of things like that we're working on. It's amazing to have somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Ekron is a second opinion, actually agrees with everything that he's said, but we still are looking at bringing in a third party just to confirm everything. All of our fall/winter programming is going into place, so we'll have advertisements that go out with the city brochure. And so it's nice to be ahead of the game for a change instead of behind the 8 ball there. Other than that, it's just refreshing to see so many people that came out to the safety picnic and utilizing that building. It was pretty awesome to see that entire space just full of people. I don't think I've seen any amount that large thus far. So any questions regarding anything we have going on?
Any questions? Thank you for accommodating the safety picnic on short notice. That was well attended, and everybody, I think, appreciated the fact that it was indoors.
Yeah, and I think Stacy and I, if we do that next year, I think we have a very good plan. I will let you know I will be gone next week. My father passed away on Sunday, and so
Sorry to
I
hear
will
that.
be out of town next week for the funeral. So if there is anything that is needed at the OAC CAT, we'll be handling all of that for me.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Sorry for your loss. We'll move on to Commission Department Director's report. Stacy.
Included with my report is the general fund surplus cash analysis for June month end. I had noted we're about right at average. I mean, maybe 1% below, but we ended at just over 36% at June month end. So that is good news. I have distributed the self-evaluation forms for to the appointed department heads, kind of getting ready for our annual review process that will actually be here before we know it. In my report, there's a tentative timeline to have those self-evaluations due back mid-September on the 13th. Those then will get distributed out to the commissioners for their review, due back with your individual reviews of each department head by October 11th. And then looking ahead at schedules, either October 22nd or October 29th. The 22nd is a commission meeting day. That's why I have it noted in the afternoon. Or October 29th, I believe, is another Tuesday, and do that in the morning. So with missing a couple of commissioners, we can't get that scheduled, so I'll probably be asking that again in August, but take a look at your calendars and see if one of those works better for you folks. Achievement Days starts next Monday. Again, I had the flyer in my packet with all of the different events. Starts Monday, wraps up Thursday evening with the 4-H barbecue starting at 5. So that's there for you to take a look at. Senior Companions, we do fund this organization every year. They're asking for a commissioner to attend their annual recognition luncheon. And this comes up every year. It's Friday, August 2nd. It's at the Elks Lodge up in Watertown. So checking on your availability. Is anyone available to attend? Otherwise, they just ask that a letter be sent. But if someone is able to attend, I can let them know that.
I'm not able to attend either that or the 4-H banquet Thursday either. I'll be out of town.
I'm
You
not
had already
available-
said that
I'm not
you-
available on
yeah.
the 2nd.
Okay,
Maybe,
okay.
depending on the weather.
Well, I can look back and draft that letter, and if you are available, Larry, let me know, because I need to, I think I'd have to look back at the letter, but we'll just kind of stay in touch on that.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It's good meeting.
Yep. And then at the last meeting, we had talked about this Summit on Improving Criminal Justice Responses to those with mental illness, and this is sponsored by UJS, Unified Judicial System in South Dakota. That conference is in August, the 13th and 14th, out at Arrowwood in Oakoma, and I do believe Marty, you, and Jail Administrator Bart Sweeby plan to attend that, but if there are commissioners that would like to attend that, please let me know so that I can, if you want me to make those arrangements and RSVP for you, I can do that. So do you know if anyone else plans to attend?
Does anybody want to attend?
I don't think I'm available that chunk of time.
We'll at least have Marty and Bart over there, so we do have 2 representatives.
Okay.
I may attend as well.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's information that I handed out. And it was kind of, this was just sort of a kind of a save the date, but then I handed out additional information this morning on the Conservation District Tour that will be August 20th, a little bit sooner than that. It's going to be a little bit different this year than what we have seen, what we've done in the past. Usually we've met out at their building north of town. We're going to actually meet at their office here in Brookings on 6th Street. We'll get on a beta bus there. We'll go up to Bruce for lunch, and then go on the tour of 3 different locations up in that area, and then return at about 3:45. So that itinerary I handed out this morning to you. Safety Week. I want to thank Kristen for kind of rolling with the punches, so to speak, with us for Safety Week last week, specifically with the picnic last Thursday. We ended up having, due to weather, canceling some of the fire extinguisher trainings, and then everything got, we ended up rescheduling a bunch for Thursday. We're held out in the parking lot out at the OAC, and then the safety picnic was moved out there. And I had a lot of compliments on having that picnic out at that location and inside rather than outside, and it just worked really, really well. And we're going to be, Laura and I will be meeting with the city staff that, we do that Safety Week activities in jointly with the city. We'll kind of be having an after-action review and be discussing if that's maybe a permanent change that we want to make. But again, thank you, Kristen and her staff, for kind of on the fly setting up for 100 people to show up and have a picnic at her facility. I handed out this morning, there's an invitation for the White House Intergovernmental Affairs meeting with, it's out in Washington, D.C. on September 10th. Commissioner Pierce went to this last year and really enjoyed it. I know she has said that she's not able to attend this year.
I did sign up for the, there's a live telecast this afternoon at 3 o'clock that I signed up for, so I'll be listening to all the details.
Okay, and you plan to maybe...
I'd like to try and do it, yeah.
Okay.
So I thought I'd listen to it, find out what's going on first.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be in Chicago.
Okay. Larry, do you have any interest in attending that? No. Okay. And I know, I'll reach out to Ryan too, just to double check. I think Commissioner Pierce said she was not able to attend this year. Also, I handed out the agenda for the next Sioux Valley Commissioners meeting, or the 10-county meeting. That's going to be Wednesday, August 21st. Dual County is our host up in Clear Lake. The agenda includes some some comments from Alyssa Kraus with Farm to Plate Marketplace on the agenda. So I will be, if you know now that you plan to attend, otherwise I'll be asking in. I know we have to RSVP for that. So.
Don't know yet.
Don't know. Do you know, Larry, if you plan to attend?
Got a full week.
Mm-hmm. It is a full week.
I plan on it.
Okay.
Likely, yes.
Yes. And then the last thing I have is I had sent out an email scheduling the county site tour, not the conservation district, but just a county site tour with Highway Superintendent Brian Gusted to go look at different sites around the county, some road projects, bridge projects, things of that nature. It looks like Monday, August 19th will be the day, and I'll get that sent out to everyone. We'll do that in the afternoon. I think what we'll do is maybe plan on leaving, I don't know how, do you have any idea about how long you think that might last? A couple of hours maybe? So maybe if we start at 2 so that we're back in, for sure by 5 o'clock. I don't think it would be 3 hours, but plan from 2 o'clock on. I'll get that sent out too.
Meet at the highway then?
We can. I'll get a beta bus lined up to pick us up and take us around, so that would be easy for them to pick us up out the highway shop, which would be fine. And that's all I have, unless you have some questions for me.
Any questions? Okay, State's Attorney's Office report.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Commission reports and discussion items. I see we have some documents before us that were presented from DENR and BDC's workforce study. If you have a chance to review those, is there any discussion on those documents? Hearing none. Commissioner reports. Since we're missing 2 of them, I think Leanne and I will probably do a report on the NACO convention at the next meeting when she's here. Ryan obviously is not. Commissioner Boersma, report.
Sure. So, July 3rd, I had a meeting with East Central Behavioral Health staffing on their rebranding process. The 9th was here for executive session and then came back later that evening to have a meeting with the state's attorney's office regarding CMR contracts and kind of understanding that process better. The 12th had a meeting with Stacy here regarding some of the contract language for CMR stuff, and then the county liens and Madera Monument MOU, so kind of knocked a lot of things off the list that day. The 12th, I had another meeting with East Central Behavioral Health Administrator Mary Beth Fishback regarding some of the renovation projects that they've got going on there. The 17th was an ICAP board meeting. Back again for exec session on the 18th, and then the Mental Health Task Force met yesterday for its, I believe, final meeting, and so we'll transition a lot of those duties to the Mental Health Coalition moving forward, and the final written report we're expecting in the next couple weeks, I think. So.
Thank you. Commissioner Jensen.
July 8th in the evening, met with the fire departments on radio issues. On the 17th, I attended the equipment days down in Canton. Looked over a lot of interesting equipment and also did a tour of a company in Canton there. It's Omega Company. It's basically a company that makes liners that you can put inside of a culvert that needs repair or sewer line that needs repair, and it was pretty interesting tour and how the material's made and how that's applied to the sewers and the culverts. And I don't know if we've used the application that's been used a few different places around. It's quite expensive, but it's a handy application to be able to have if you don't want to tear your road up. So on the 18th, we had a exec session in the morning. At 8:30, we had a E911 meeting. 11:30, we had a safety picnic out at the OAC. Was impressed with all the employees that participated out there. It was a good show, and the city had quite a few people there also. On the 20th, on Saturday, I'd like to thank Marty and Bob for responding to the wind event up in White. I got calls that morning. Fire department was meeting at 10, and Marty sent a deputy up there, and like you said, the community responded, and they basically in 2-3 hours had the community, all the branches and trees cleaned up. So, like I said, talked with the highway superintendent up in Dual County this morning regarding the aerial crop spraying incident. So that's all I have.
Thank you. All right. July 2nd, also attended the planning and zoning meeting for the county. On July 8th, also attended the radio issue with the fire department. So good discussion was had, and some questions were asked, and Bob got some answers back to some of those people on it, and we'll continue to follow up on that radio issue with the fire departments and emergency management. On the 18th, obviously, the executive session with everyone else. Also, the safety picnic, which was well attended. I was very pleased with the turnout for the safety picnic. Bob did a nice job with his presentation. We will give a report on the NACO convention when Leanne gets back, her and I, and the things we attended and the different seminars we attended there and the things that we learned. Yesterday, met with Representative Congressman Dusty Johnson for an hour, just giving an update with different governmental entities and business people in town, and that went very quickly, and we visited a little bit about different subjects. With that, completing our reports, item 12 is an executive session in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, parentheses 1 and parentheses 4, personnel and contract negotiations. Is there a motion to enter into executive session?
So move.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We will take a 10-minute recess, and we'll meet in executive session. Thank you.